This next project is fairly easy. It's just a single part, but I want to introduce you to using metric instead of inches. So normally when you click up here on the new part, not the drop down, but the actual icon, you end up with something that looks like this. And you have the options of part files, assembly files, drawing files, and presentation. You also have different templates on the left hand side. We're going to select metric, and now we can make a standard part file in millimeters as the default instead of inches. It also gives you the option for sheet metal and other things over here as well. We're going to go with the standard millimeter part file. Let's go to create, and we are making a top. This is for metals too, and I'm going to make the cylinder on the top plane. So we're just going to make a circle here. It's going to have a diameter of 37.5, and we are going to extrude that up a distance of 40 millimeters. Okay, so this would represent the stock that you would first get to start to take away with the lathe. Now we can go into our origin folder. We want to select one of the planes that goes through it and make a new sketch on that plane. So I'm selecting the YZ. You could also select the XY. Either one works. So I make a new sketch on here. Right click and slice graphics away. So now I can look just at the inside part. And let's see, rectangle. We don't know a whole lot of information on this. Let's not put the rectangle there. Let's instead go with line. You may have to project the geometry of this first, and then go back to line. This is going to go back at it says 30 degrees on the paper, on the instructions, but it's assuming that this is 90. So 90 plus 30 is 120. Okay, so this angle here is the same as from here to here being 30. I just want you to see that. You don't have to accept that dimension. Alright, we also are going to put a line in that goes through here. We're going to make sure it stays vertical. Oop, actually vertical is up and down this way, so let's make that a horizontal line. It thinks that'll over constrain it, so we can leave it be. And the distance this is away from here is going to be 16 millimeters. Alright. Let's see here. So we have the overall length is 40, we have this is 16, we have the 30 degrees inside of here. We are just about done. We also know that there's a line that's going to come in here, and that the distance from this point to this line is, well, the overall diameter is going to be 10, so half of that is 5 millimeters. Alright, let's start chunking this guy off. So I'm going to project geometry again for top and sides here. Trim off the bits we don't need. And this is not the way I've done things in the past. Normally I'll do kind of one cut at a time. I think by now you guys kind of understand what this program is doing. So instead of worrying about tool pathing, it's going to say we're going to cut out both of these chunks and revolve it around this center axis. So let's finish our sketch. We'll say revolve. I want to pick both of those. Our axis is actually going to be the y-axis if you're following the exact same thing I am, and you're cutting to remove material. Cool. So here you're almost done with your top. We're going to add fillets, the radius of 1.27. So where's my fillet? There it is. 1.27 millimeters, and that's going to be on both of those. It'll be here on the inside as well. Right. Keep forgetting I can't revolve the easy way when I'm inside this. And we'll add a little fillet on here. So fillets on any hard edges that you have, we can't put a fillet on the point. That'd be silly. So we'll just keep that at as much of a point as we can. Let's apply. And there is going to be one little thing that we'll have to go back and make a second sketch for. So let's say here, I'm going to make a new sketch. We're actually going to knurl the material right here so you have a nice grip for when you go to spin it with your fingers. So slice graphics, F7 is the shortcut on that. When you knurl, you have this diameter here, but it's a special tool that actually raises the level of the material, which is opposite of what you might think. So we're just going to kind of do a quick one. I'm say the distance to the knurl, let's put that at 4 millimeters, and the length of that knurl, we can have that be 6. That's fine. And then we want to say, let's project geometry of this surface. This is really not going to be very thick. Let's say 0.5 millimeter thick and see what that looks like. That almost looks like too much. So we'll make it even smaller. So let's say 0.05. Okay. I don't really care about this part here. If I wanted to, I can make this the same level as this, but when we go to revolve it, we're just adding material, so it's not really going to matter. For the axis, again, we have to pick the y-axis. We'll say OK, and this is really just going to show up when you inspect it closely, that that's not the same level as everything else. Okay, so then you right click on this surface, just the part that we're going to knurl. You go Properties, and you have to go down and select knurl. It will be with the K's. Knurled 45. Looks good. Well, actually it doesn't look good. It looks like polished metal instead of knurling. If you know what knurling is or what it looks like, you know this is not it. On the next video I'm going to show you how to correct this. But let's go ahead and change the material type as well. So instead of default, let's change this to aluminum. And we'll have polished aluminum, because you'll probably end up shining these up. Okay. Let's go to our home view. It thinks this is the home view. Well, that's a bad decision. Let's see here. It's not a very good view either. Alright, let's get this view cube turned around a little bit. That looks like a good front view, but it's upside down on this, so right click on your view cube, set current view as front. Click on this corner, right click, set current view as home, and fit to view. And then we're also just going to take this and nudge it just slightly. This is not the home view, but if we leave it as an isometric view here, you can't see anything. It just looks like a big cylinder on a base. You can't tell that it's a top. So if we just rotate it slightly and save it like this, again, you'll have to make a new folder for it. So let's go and make a new folder, and we'll call this top. And then we'll save this into. Okay. So now when you save this and you go to make a drawing file for it, you can always say insert current view, as one of your options, and then it'll show it as a top. Alright, so in the next video I'm going to go over how to change the appearance of this knurl, and then just kind of laying out your drawing files, because there's no assembly, there's no presentation file. This is more or less done.